We're going to take off our shoes to perform this movement. Set up with your feet in line with each relative hip joint. Create torque, pack the neck, organize the ribs. All your weight should be over your front leg. We're training the front leg here, not the back leg. Here I am from the side angle. All my weight's over my front leg here. Abs are engaged, neck's packed, shoulders organized, gentle knee touch. Here it is with the other leg. All right, so today we're talking about the stationary split lunge. Now, this movement can be done many different ways. Here's how I want you to do it. We're gonna be focused on loading the forward leg. The front leg must be the leg that we're loading. And I'll get into why we're doing that as we talk about this. So first thing, foot placement. I want you to set up with your second toe pointing straight forward. I want you to set that foot in line with its hip joint. And I want you to set this foot in line with its hip joint. So some people tend to set up for lunges like this or like this. That's wrong. We need to get everything in line with our relative hip joints. Okay, so right foot in line with your right hip joint, left foot in line with your left. Next thing with foot placement is getting an organized, gripped foot posture. So no arching, or sorry, no collapsed arches, no falling in, no torquing in. We need to maintain torque through our ankle, knee, and hip. Same thing with our back leg. A lot of people will stand with their hips open. Instead of our hips square, they'll stand with their hips open and their foot flared. And then when I ask them to square up their hips, they've done that, but their foot and knee is still facing outward. Other times I'll ask them to square up, and now their knee falls in and their foot falls in. So what they are missing here is torque. They've squared up their hips, but they're missing torque. So you gotta make sure that your big toe and your second toe are pointing straight forward on that back foot, and that your knee isn't collapsed in, and that your hips aren't pointed out. Everything should be in a good position. This leg is torqued. If this knee is falling in, create some torque back there. Okay, in this posture, you can then lean over your front leg and go to work. Load up that front leg. Now I'm gonna show you from the side here. The way my anatomy is built, I have a very short lunge. I have a deep lunge, but I have a short lunge for my anatomy. So I'm gonna load up the front leg here, and you're gonna see this short lunge. So create the grip in the foot, set the core, set the pelvis, set the neck, shoulders in a good position. Load the front leg. We're not back here. Load the front leg. Gentle knee touch, push down. Push down to the floor to drive back up. Okay, the reason why my legs are so close together, I'm not doing this. Here I'm loading my back leg quite a bit. And when I go down, I'm kind of stretching. And I'm not trying to do that with my bodybuilding exercise. I'm trying to build my front lunge leg here. So instead of having this long lunge where I'm very spread out, maybe even leaning back too much, and I'm getting quite a stretch down my back leg here, I want to be loaded over my front. In order to be in balance, my back leg needs to be much closer. So when you're doing this stationary split lunge, load up your front leg. Let that dictate how far back your back leg goes. Keep your neck packed, your core organized, your shoulders in a good position, and crank out that stationary lunge. Again, from the front. So all my weight is on my front leg. I've got a good grip, torque, shoulders, abs, ribs, gentle knee touch, and back up. Some people ask me, do I have to touch my knee to the floor? Well, we want to train a consistent range of motion. When you're not hitting the floor, you might be shallow on some reps and you might be deep on others. I'd rather you just develop the control to gently touch your knee to the floor. That's going to mean you're consistently reaching the same depth. Not only the same depth on that leg, but the same depth on both legs. You know, what if you were squatting shallow or lunging shallow on one side and then really deep on the other side? You're going to develop asymmetrical strength. So we want to make sure we have range of motion the same on each leg, hitting the floor gently touching the floor with your knee, great way to do that. So it's also an indicator, if you're crashing into the floor and you don't like that, that's an indicator that you have no control. You have no control with this move. If I was, boom, like crashing into the floor and hitting my knee and hurting my knee, I wouldn't want to touch the floor either. But that's an indicator that I'm lacking balance, control, and strength. Get rid of the weights, lighten the load, and get control of this movement pattern here. So you should be able to go down slow, touch the knee, and back up. Again, the pace of your breathing. Breathe in on the way down. We don't breathe like this. Okay, we don't breathe like that. Breathe in on the way down. Breathe out on the way up. If you're going faster than you're breathing, or if your breathing is really rapid with your rep tempo, you're doing something wrong. So slow down your breathing, slow down your reps. You're gonna get so much more muscle building effectiveness from that slower pace. There's the stationary split lunge. Train it, good luck, have fun.